Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CPAC Australia 2023. We are very excited to introduce our first speaker for this afternoon. Please give a very warm welcome to the uncancelable, independent Liberal MP, Moira Deeming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that warm welcome, and thank you also to the organisers of CPAC for inviting me to speak here today. If you are wondering what on earth an independent Liberal MP is, you're not alone. It's a name I had to sort of come up with myself because apparently there isn't a category for me in the law. Apparently I'm the first MP in history who has refused to quit their party after being expelled from their parliamentary team. I decided to stand my ground. Thank you. So, I'm not sure how much you all know about this, and there are lots of details that I'm going to have to leave out because I'm engaged in a defamation lawsuit against my leader. But 6 months ago, I attended a Let Women Speak rally on the steps of Parliament House in Victoria. It was an open mic event where women are invited to speak about the harms that they've been suffering through. Not just them, but also their children, because of the extreme transgender ID laws that are being enforced all around the world. We had to be protected, even though that sounds like common sense, by huge numbers of police, including police on horseback. There were hundreds of violent protesters that surrounded us. At some point during the day, two groups of socialists began clashing with each other, calling each other Nazis. And while they were being separated by the police, one group got up on the other side of Parliament House steps and did a Nazi salute. Those Nazi socialists never came near our group. They did not stand with us. They did not listen with us. They didn't speak with us. They mocked us and they threatened us along with the rest of the Socialist Greens Antifa mob of protesters. Our organisers condemned them, complained about them and asked the police to make them leave. Nevertheless, the next day I was called in for a meeting and informed by my parliamentary leadership team that unless I publicly condemned the organisers of the rally, Kelly J. Keane and Angela Jones, as Nazis and transphobes, they were going to move a motion to expel me from their MP team. And after that they would recommend that I be expelled from the Liberal Party entirely. Generously, as some would say, they offered me the option to resign and make it easier on everyone. I said no, thank you, and I stood up and I left. I had decided during that meeting that whatever they were going to do to me and to those other poor women and to the cause of sex-based rights in general, I wasn't going to help them do it. I was going to fight them. I had no idea then what the consequences were going to be. All I knew was that I was going to stand my ground with as much dignity and strength as I could. 3 hours later, it hit the news. Moira Deeming MP to be expelled over Nazi rally. Then began what I can only describe as a public stoning that is still going on to this day. With my own leadership team characterising me as a willful associate of Nazis and using the official party logo to do it, it was immediately open season against Moira Deeming MP. With the entire leadership of the Liberal, Labor and Greens, which is just like the entire cohort of Victorian politics, united to condemn me as unworthy to sit with them in Parliament, all eyes were on me and they were glaring. Federally, Labor, Greens and the Teals did the same. I did not say federal Liberal. Media releases and nasty speeches covered by parliamentary privilege came fast at dizzying rates, and they also targeted anyone who defended me. Within 24 hours, my face and my name became synonymous with Nazism in news stories all over the world. So you can imagine the social media storm and the hate mail that began to roll in, because people actually thought that a real live Nazi sympathiser had accidentally been elected to Parliament. Otherwise, why would they have wanted to expel her? I don't know if you saw the Q&A episode with Stan Grant. He invited 3 men onto his panel, not me, I didn't receive an invite, and they were all invited on to judge my character and my right, my moral right as an adult human female to go to a legal protest in 2023. The media started following me around, invading my privacy at my home. I had males with cameras hiding in the dark behind my bins that would jump out. Crouching beside my car at Parliament, people started recognising me in the street and hurling abuse at me. The humiliation of being shunned in public was severe. MP invitations started to be withdrawn because it just wouldn't look very good to have a Nazi sympathiser there. Well, when you get your name cleared, Moira, we can have you back. It was humiliating and degrading and totally unjust. But the very worst part of it all was that if I didn't have this smear removed from my name, my children were going to grow up experiencing exactly the same degrading treatment that I was experiencing. And if I did not fix this smear on the Let Women Speak rally, then all of our legitimate concerns and all the work that they have done was going to be ignored and overshadowed by these disgusting and false allegations. If I didn't stand against this way of doing politics, then all was going to be lost anyway. I absolutely had no choice but to stand my ground. And I just wanted to say that I really couldn't have done even that, even just stood still and taken it, if it wasn't for all the other people coming to my defence. You see, I was running sort of 2 battle lines because I didn't blame the Liberal Party for what had happened to me. These were decisions of individuals, and it's only individuals who are responsible for what happened. And so I didn't want to damage the Liberal Party. I wanted to try and work it out in private, so I kept silent, trying to negotiate constantly for 3 months. So I couldn't speak much in public, but other people spoke for me. And one of the first ones was Warren Mundine. I really didn't expect so much support from so many high-profile people that it was going to cost them to stand up for me. But so many people came out, and I'm so grateful. I just want to say thank you to my husband, Andrew, as well. He's been a total rock, and he's very unsympathetic too, so he always tells me to get up, stand your ground, go on, you can do it. I also want to say a huge thank you to all of the left-wing women who have supported me in this time as well. You know, this one issue has united like nothing else that I've ever seen. Ordinary people from every single political party, from every side of the spectrum, because it's just so fundamentally, obviously wrong that women are not allowed to have privacy away from men. That's not hateful. And everybody knows it. But this authoritarian regime that coerces everybody to say things that they don't believe and to put themselves into positions where they are terrified is unacceptable to me. And thankfully, unacceptable to many people. And the more that I spoke up about it, the more support that I got inside and outside the Liberal Party. I don't think I can go through this list of names. It's so long. It's so long. But there were people inside the Liberal Party in Victoria who stood on principle for me, people who didn't know me, people that weren't in the correct faction. They're not conservative, and they still stood up for me. And I'm forever grateful to those people. So whatever else was going to happen to me in this life, I was not going to let these allegations stand. It might have meant that it was my final contribution to public life, but that was just a choice that I had to make. Now, to cut a long story short and to cut out a whole bunch of detail that I can't go into right now, it took them 2 tries, but ultimately they succeeded in having me expelled from the MP team, but they did not succeed in having me expelled from the party. And that is thanks to the members, because when I stood my ground, they backed me and they stood their ground too. So although I've been cast aside to sit on the crossbench, I'm still a proud Liberal and I've still got the same job to do. And that's to stand up for Liberal democratic rights and freedoms, those same things that the Liberal Party has pledged to defend. And that's also why I'm not finished with Mr. Pizzuto. I did nothing wrong. I was pre-selected and elected to be a Liberal Party MP, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my party, and I fully intend to get the exoneration that I was promised and to retake my rightful place in that party room. The broader battle is going to cost us much. It's not going to be easy, and we are going to be called names, and it is going to be unfair. But we need to have conviction. We must not capitulate. I often think that we can come across as nervous, as though even we believe the lies that the left tell about us. But we have nothing to be ashamed of. We are fighting for the common good. Classical Liberal democracy, or conservatism, if some people want to call it that, or, I don't know, extreme far right-wing nut jobs, I don't know. Whatever they call it, it's actually evidence-based, hard-won, historically proven civil governance principles. Either we believe that people will be better off living under them, or we don't, and I do. So, we've just got some questions to ask ourselves. Are we going to sit idly by while Australians are crushed and silenced by cancel culture and hate speech laws? Are we going to sit Are we going to sit idly by as the next generation of young people are robbed of their right to a balanced education? Are we going to sit idly by while women and girls are being subjected to the terror and the humiliation of grown men barging into their change rooms? Are we going to sit idly by while loving parents and concerned physicians are demonised, losing their licences and sometimes even their right to have custody of their own children, just for wanting those children to make it to adulthood with their sexual reproductive organs intact? Thank you. Are we going to let the Australian Constitution make people unequal before the law? No, we're not. And what kind of people would we really be if we didn't fight these things? Modern Labor leadership. Don't demonise the Labor members. I used to be one of those. The ordinary centre-right. I come from Labor. Sorry if you didn't know this. My great-grandfather was a Labor MP. My mum was a union boss. But there are the majority of Labor voters, okay? They're centre-right. Let me just go to this other bit. It is often said that there are a silent majority of Australians who agree with us. I actually think there is a majority of misled, exploited and suffering Australians who don't know that we agree with them. People genuinely believe that Conservatives and Liberals and Libertarians don't actually care about them, and that right-wing means already wealthy and not willing to share. We can get angry about it, but there's no point. We have to be prepared to answer those accusations. When I gave my maiden speech to Parliament, for 2 weeks, the media and most of the MPs in Parliament went into total meltdown. It was hilarious. But I realised very quickly that they had been whipping themselves into a hysterical frenzy about what they assumed that I was going to say, and they hadn't actually paid any attention at all to what I actually said. Journalists wrote absurd articles and shock jocks went on radio rants about my speech, and they were all complaining about things that I did not even say. But meanwhile, my actual speech went viral all around the world. Hundreds of thousands of views, translated into at least 3 other languages, and I was inundated with positive comments and messages. Obviously that has slowed down now that people think I'm a Nazi. But I just want you to know that these messages were mostly pouring in from people who, like me, come from the left side of politics. They resonated with my message of despair over the extreme and incoherent distortions of what we all thought was centre politics. You know, they thought that it was left-wing politics to believe in free speech and reward for effort. That's what I thought. I did not know that the Labor Party constitution had the word socialism in it. I didn't know. You know, they've been lied to, and we need to have compassion for these people. We can win them over. We just need to have courage. Look at what Jacinta and Warren have done. They're not just complaining that the media aren't being nice to them, they're fighting back, they're getting FOIs, they're going out, they're exhausted, they're going on tours around Australia. They're amazing, and we can support them and support people like them. We just need to be willing to pay the cost. We have to be calm, we have to make sure we never quit. Don't waste time on personal revenge or anything like that. We just need to remember, as Margaret Thatcher said, that there are no permanent political victories. And in conclusion, I just wanted to say, once again, thank you to everyone who has stood by me while I've been standing on principle. I couldn't have done it without the support of the members and the support of all the people who stood up for me in public. So just, it's worth it. We can do it. The tide is turning. Please be encouraged. Thank you.
How good is Moira? A truly independent